Welcome, witches. I'm Candi.
And I'm Jen.
And we're the Cornfield Coven. Today's podcast, we're going to be digging into Chicago, Illinois' ghost lore of their most famous ghost, Resurrection Mary, aka the Lady in White, or the Vanishing Hitchhiker. There's many lores on Resurrection Mary, and there has never been a set, pinpointed, exact Mary. And different religions and different cultures believe Mary is a unique, different version to them. They believe she is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Polish girl, young girl who went out dancing one night. Another lore believes that it was a 8-year-old little girl who her dad and mom and brothers went out for her birthday because she really wanted to go dancing, and there was an accident. Another lore believes that Mary is this dark-haired, dark-eyed young girl who went out dancing one night with her boyfriend, and they got in a fight and she walked away. So I kind of dug deep. And when I kept digging, before I get into the most popular lore, back in 1897 is when the first encounter of the woman in white in Chicago was first reported. And it was from a group at a church who was going for a church fair in Sauk Valley by a police station. William and John, two musicians, were hired to perform that day. And so they go and they do their thing. And after they were done, it was just too long of a trip to go home. So they decided to stay the night in the church.
Fair.
Anyways, that night they saw the Lady in White. And so that is the first recollection of that. It goes into a whole deep lore of joy. So what I wanted to focus on is our most, as I like to say, scary stories to tell in the dark version that us Gen Xers grew up on from that book. But it was The Lady in White. And it is about this young woman. And it's the 1930s, and she went dancing at, it's down on, how did I just go blank? But anyways, it was at the, legend says that it was late 30s, and Mary spent the night dancing at Willowbrook Ballroom. Then it was called the O. Henry Ballroom.
Yes, O. Henry's.
O.
Henry's. I remember that name.
You know, there need to be more grand ballrooms like this. They're far, far and few between these days.
I'm not going.
But no, I can't dance. I have 2 left feet. If you ask my kids, 2 left feet. After a fight with her date, she stormed out and began walking home alone in the cold. And rumor has it, everybody that has seen Mary, she's in a white, thin dress. No coat.
Yes.
And
I remember this. So when again was she at this dance? At what time of year?
In wintertime. It's wintertime
and
in the 30s, and she has no coat, and she's wearing
no fury like a woman scorned.
Oh, and the dresses I was Google searching because I have to have the full image in my head. It's like a total flappers.
That's what I see.
Dress, and I was just, wow, I'd be cold inside with it. Anyways, it says that they got in a fight. She took off walking home. Crazy, because then again, it's before Uber and Lyft. So as she was walking along the side of the road to stay out of the snow, she was struck and killed by a hit-and-run driver who was never identified. So this is when I started getting kind of okay, interesting. It says that her grieving parents buried her in Resurrection Cemetery, hence the name Resurrection Mary, in the same white dress and shoes she died in.
She got hit by a car. Is it still white?
Is it still? And not well to do. Did the church or funeral home not donate an article of clothing?
Or did she not have, like, is that the only piece
But
of
if
clothing
she's
she owned?
out dancing, wouldn't
Yeah.
you have? Anyways, so years went on. Mary was married. The first real encounter with Mary, now, granted, like I started this off with, in 1897, those two gentlemen, William and John, saw the lady in white
Mm-hmm.
and they heard voices. And in that version, she came in on a horse and carriage. And it was very, very
Oh,
Cinderella
goodness.
type of a
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
But
Bippity boppity.
I'm thinking Jerry, who is our first encounter, I'm almost wondering if he heard that lore, that legend. And so, how does Jerry tell the world about Resurrection Mary? He goes on, um, oh my gosh, he goes on national TV. He goes on national TV and he gives this encounter of Resurrection Mary and how he went dancing one night at the ballroom. And he met this blonde woman at the dance hall. Her hands were cold as ice. He gave her a ride home, and she vanished as they passed the cemetery.
And when was this? Like the 60s?
1939.
Okay.
And where does he tell his story? He tells it on Unsolved Mysteries. You know, the episodes with the guy who had the
Okay,
creepy
so
intro?
when did he give the account?
He gave the account in 1983.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But the encounter happened in 1939.
Okay.
He allegedly says.
Yes. And Unsolved Mysteries, yeah, totally.
You can hear the theme song going in
Unsolved
your head.
Mysteries is the reason you and I
Yes.
are the way we are.
Yes, exactly.
Because our moms watched Unsolved
Oh my
Mysteries with us
gosh.
when we were at very young ages.
So he says that they danced the night away. She was very quiet. She was very, very lovely at listening to him. Her hands were as cold as ice, but her heart was as warm as could be. She was lovely. And he also said he gave her a kiss and then offered to take her home for her. He gave her an address, but instead of going the route he would go to her house, she asked to go down Archer Avenue. And that is where Resurrection Cemetery is. And so as they got to the cemetery, she asked him to pull over. And he didn't hear the car door shut, but she was gone. So that night he goes home and he is just confused. He is just baffled. He is just, what the heck just happened? The next morning he wakes up and he goes to the address of that young lady, of Mary. And when he gets to the door, a woman answers the door and he asks for Mary. And the woman goes, "I'm so sorry. There's no Mary here." And behind her on the wall is Mary's picture. And he goes, "No, no, no, that young lady right there." And her mom got emotional and was like, "You couldn't have seen her. She died a few years ago." And he goes, "No, I was with her last night." And she goes, "This is not a funny joke. Go away," and shut the door. So he went back to the cemetery and went to the information building, and they told him, yeah, dead, gone, long time ago. So anyways, that's when he's like, "I have met a ghost." Other encounters started popping up after this. And people were saying that they would be driving down, like a cab driver one night was driving down the road and he saw a young woman in white with long flowing hair and no coat. He pulled over and said, "May I give you a ride?" And she said, "I have no money." And he says, "Don't worry, I'll give you a ride." He pulled up by Resurrection Cemetery and she jumped out and ran into the bar across the street. Now, the bar across the street, how do I say this? I think they're living off the fame of Resurrection Mary.
Yeah.
Because when you watch the different YouTube videos and you listen to all of that, what cracks me up is this Chicago bar has their own logo t-shirts. They're wonderful. But anyways, Chet's Resurrection Bar, they leave every Sunday they leave Mary, a Bloody Mary, because they believe that's what she would drink, at the end of the bar. And it's just like an honorary drink. They have said that a couple of times the drink has been drank. Now, they don't know if people are messing with them or what. But going back to this cab driver,
We need to go to this bar. Just inserting
right?
that, like,
It's
we have
across
to go
the
there.
street.
And this is awesome. I love when places like embrace this, even if they're overdoing it a little bit. You know what? They're leaving a drink out for her. They're being respectful of Mary.
And the
I'm
gentleman
on
who owns the bar in this YouTube video, he was talking about it, and I'm loving it. He's wearing the merch.
Yep.
And it's got Resurrection Mary, her ghost, with like a beautiful like 57 Cadillac or whatever. But like I said, they're benefiting from it, but they're also embracing it. And like I said, the honor. But the cab driver came in and he had made a comment, and he had said, this woman came in, she didn't pay her cab fare. And they all looked around and they finally said, what did she look like? And he said, white dress, no coat, blah, blah, blah. And the guy goes, oh, that was Mary. And he goes, well, where can I find her? And they said, the cemetery.
You're not getting your fare, bro.
And they said that was like the first time Mary had really entered there. So that's when they started honoring her. Like, oh, they felt we were a safe place for her to hide. Other encounters are, they've gotten phone calls where people have driven past the cemetery at night and they've seen somebody trapped inside the gates and like, help me, I'm stuck inside. And so like the police or security will show up and nobody's there, but they encounter that the bars are bent or that there's handprints. So that has been a lore. And then years later, it was debunked by the cemetery that actually the landscaper backed into the gate and dented it, and that the handprints that were on the gate were actually where they were welding it, and when they were trying to rebend it, it left marks.
Sure.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh, there's always, unless it is true. I like to believe in my heart that Mary is real. She was really trying to mess with people, and the cemetery just doesn't want ghost hunters and people like us going, where's Mary? Because they do say that people come looking. So there is multiple Marys in the graveyard. And over time, they, how do I say this? People are coming in and looking for Mary, and then they debunk each one. The two most famous Marys is Mary Gregory, and who they believe Mary is, and she was the young lady who was killed on the side of the road leaving the ballroom. But
how old was she?
She was 20, I believe, 20 or 22. But she does not have blonde hair. She has brown hair and brown eyes. So that one's kind of like, huh.
But I don't know. She was leaving the ballroom, though, in a white dress.
In a white dress. But then Anna Norcus, and her middle name is pronounced as Mary, but it's spelled differently. But she is the one who was like 8 years old, and her family was leaving the ballroom after they had taken her for her birthday and went dancing, and they hit a ditch that the railroad had just dug, and they didn't see it. And when the car flipped, Mary was the one who was deceased. And it was right by, and it was on Archer Avenue and all of that. But she was blonde, wearing a white dress also. So a lot of the things that people are talking about is a variation of the woman in white, and no one knows the identity of Resurrection Mary. This is a ghost story that has been passed down from generation to generation. So over time, names, dates, and details have been changed. It's like a famous version of telephone.
Yes.
And every person has a different version of what it could be to benefit them, I think.
Yeah.
But Chicago has so many different ghosts during that time, and with Mary being such a common and biblical name.
Yes.
A lot of people have Mary in their name. I mean, there's everything from the Anna, young girl. Her middle name is Marija, and it's a version of Mary, I guess. And then there's the Mary Bagovi, and then there's the Flapper Ghost, which is sometimes confused with Mary. But this ghost wears a 1920s flapper costume and haunts an area further north. It's the ballroom has burned down twice, and it's just the whole area. But going back to where I first started with William and John, in 1897, this was right where like the ballroom is. And they were going to bed that night on their cots that they made. And they kept hearing like horse pitter patter, like galloping. And so they went to the window, and there was no sound, or there was nothing outside. And they were confused by what they experienced and what they heard, but didn't see. And then it happened again. But they didn't see anything of horses or carriages. But this time, a woman was standing in the middle of the road, dressed in white, and she appeared to be floating around, her legs not moving, but gliding down the road. As in future stories of Mary, she has blonde hair, but this ghostly woman had black hair. So she's like the Mary Bagori from Jerry's story.
But Mary Bagori didn't die until like 30 years later, right?
So was the boyfriend girlfriend? Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, it's this version of her is very much the scary stories we tell in the dark from the 80s books. But then she vanishes, and these gentlemen are in a church, and they've witnessed this. They've also believed that in this same area they have dug up Native American bones. And years later, in the 1930s on Archer Avenue, a woman in white was spotted. So they believe this area is just cursed. I did see in an episode of a show I was watching, there's a gentleman back in the 80s who used to give ghost tours of Resurrection Cemetery for $20 because he believes, yes, Mary is there, but the area is also very haunted by animals. And he said in the 70s it was very haunted by 2 kangaroo ghosts. I don't know.
Kangaroos.
I think I would pay $20 if he could show me 2 kangaroo ghosts.
I'm in. One of the very first ghost tours that I ever went on was in Chicago, and Resurrection Mary was the big part of it, but it was cool. It was fun. We saw where John Dillinger got shot, and they can't keep the light from flickering the street light in the alley, and but yeah, she's huge. I just remember, being a kid and hearing about Resurrection Mary, probably on a rerun of that episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
Well, Supernatural.
I was just going to say, let's talk. I looked it up as you're talking.
Supernatural has a version of this, except the lady in white lures men to her house, and it's an abandoned house now. She kills them. They disappear.
Yes, it's actually the pilot episode.
Okay, yes!
Yes, it's the pilot episode, A Woman in White. And this is considered like a type of entity is, quotes, woman in white. And a woman in white is someone, is a spirit that lures unfaithful men to their death. So it just kind of made me think of that. And I think,
I mean, I would lure Sam or Dean to my
not to death, but
not to death, but people would think they're dead, so they don't come looking. Anyways, I'm not a killer.
If you guys don't watch Supernatural, please go start watching Supernatural, because it will be referenced.
I once asked my cousins, I said, what do you do when Supernatural ends? And my one cousin replied back to me, you start all over again.
Yep,
exactly. That's the stupidest question, Candi. But no, the woman in white is one of the, like you said, one of the oldest lores out there. And I think a lot of different cultures and backgrounds can connect to her.
Yes.
Only because when most people say, "Oh, I saw a ghost," and it was all white. So the whole white dress, white hair, I can see where the
Yes.
blonde hair or the brown hair can be seen as blonde, but it's just fascinating. I don't know what I would do if I saw the hitchhiking ghost going down the road.
There's so many hitchhiking ghosts. We should do an episode
I
on
was gonna say
ghosts.
hitchhiking ghosts, because there's one in Door County also, and a few years ago, my cousins and I were up there, and we were trying to find, but we were
love
too
Door
giggly.
County. Maybe we have to take a trip there for research. I don't know.
There is an amazing ghost trolley tour there that I always tell people to go on. We were blessed with the most fabulous tour guide, and afterwards there was a sing-along of scary songs, so it was fabulous. But no, the lady in white, she this is kind of a quicker podcast today, but because there is so many Marys to go down, and Chicago has such a fascinating history in itself. That, and especially with like the 1897 one where they found the Native American bones later on at that church, it's kind of like, what magical spiritual concoction is going on, that spirits are trapped in that area.
And with the Great Fire, and there's so much going on in Chicago.
And so at Resurrection Cemetery, Mary Bergardi is buried there, but Anna Mary Norcus she's actually buried at another Catholic cemetery just up the road. But they believe she can be seen over at Resurrection Cemetery also, because during the time that she was buried, there was a great illness going around, and they had to expand the cemeteries. So there was too many bodies. So her and her family were moved over. I feel bad for Resurrection Cemetery only for the fact of all of our people. I say our people, like our like-minded ghostly people. We want to go see, but Mary does not have a headstone. There's many Marys there, but Mary Begovi, I'm saying her name wrong. I know I am, but Begovi, she has no headstone.
Okay.
At least this one gentleman I was watching, and a couple other people. And I don't know if they did that because they couldn't afford one at the time, or if they are just trying to keep people from trying to.
And I mean, if you're going to do that, by all means do that, but be respectful about it.
Go and lay flowers. Go and take a... I don't know.
But Wilden.
Yeah, so that was the short lore of Resurrection Mary. I mean, I have tons of notes, but they all kind of converge to the same.
And the guy who did the interview with Unsolved Mysteries, Jerry, I feel like this is becoming a theme, and now we're going to have a catchphrase.
Second episode of Jerry.
You did that long flowery thing where you said her hands were cold, but her heart was warm as could be, and I'm like, okay, Jerry.
And if you ever watch the
and how many times did I say that last episode? Okay, Jerry.
If you watch the episode of Unsolved Mysteries, Jerry is looking for his 5 minutes of fame.
It sounds a little bit
his picture that they showed of him younger, very handsome, very nice. And as he's older, he looks like he'd be cutting pastrami and just I don't know. I like pastrami, so I should say it. But he just seems like he peaked. And but I bet he was a wonderful gentleman. I hope he was a good dancer, because if that's who Mary spent her evening with, I hope she had a lovely dance, because I don't know. But I really want to, from reading this, I really would like to visit the area. I would like to go have a Bloody Mary at Chet's. I would like to pay homage to Mary, to Anna, to the other Marys. But Archer Avenue there's something going on there that spirits feel called to and stay. Yeah. And it's
maybe Mary isn't the spirit of one person. Maybe she's an amalgamation of...
See, somebody opened that rabbit hole, and I was like, no. And then it was like, oh, girl, you're going to be here for days. So we might come back to Resurrection Mary. And I kind of was thinking of down the road doing the Ghosts of Chicago Marys because, like you said, it could be multiple. But I loved that when I feel bad for Mary if that she had a fight with her beau and was walking home in the cold, no coat, because she stormed out. And we've all been emotional young women. And oh, shoot, I'm an emotional old hag. I am still going to storm out. But if she was hit, it's like you hope in her afterlife that she is finding peace, even if it's dancing or going to have a Bloody Mary or
riding around in cabs,
or
man.
Maybe she's like our supernatural one, Lady in White. She's pissed. That dude broke her heart in a dance club, and now she is going to find men on the road and see if they're pure. And if they're assholes, excuse me, she is going to scare the bejesus out of them.
Yeah.
And you know what? More power to her.
She's not, difference from the Woman in White legend of Supernatural. She's not luring them to their deaths. But what's kind of sad, I think, about it is it seems like she's just trying to get home.
Yes.
She's always asking for a ride. Or she's not asking for a ride. She's being offered a ride. Maybe she just likes riding around in cars. I hope that's the case, because if she's trying to get home and can't, that makes me sad.
And I thought about that too, because she's always asking for a ride, and she gives her address. Or the other lures are she disappears when they get to the cemetery.
Yes.
But in the back seat, they found her purse, which a couple of lures that I dug up said they found her purse in the back seat or her coat, and there was a note or like her address, like her driver's license or something. But nobody has physical copies of them.
Oh,
like,
no.
Like, it's just, like, oh yeah, like, I can sit there and say that, just something random. Like, I met an amazing author and she signed my book. Well, where's your book? Oh, I don't know where I put it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If something that awesome happened to me or that spooky, yeah, it's right here in my back pocket. Like, I'm never letting this go.
Yeah.
So...
Yes.
But Resurrection Mary was the Lady in White was when I was little and I was in Girl Scouts and we'd sit around the campfire. That was a story. So as an adult, I find it so cool that she's got more in-depth history.
Yeah.
But also she's out there getting revenge. Like, go girl, but be nice about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's lots of ladies in white out there, but Chicago is sort of unique in that theirs is specific. Theirs is Resurrection Mary, and not only that, but I think she's one of the most famous ghosts in America.
And I love that it's a woman.
Yeah.
Like, you go, girl. All right. Well, that's my short episode for this week. We want to give some big shout outs to some awesome supporters.
Yes. So these are businesses or people that have been supporting us even before our first episode dropped. They were, looking for ways to support us, and we really appreciate it. So we want to shout them out. So in Cedar Falls, Align Chiropractic and Wellness. I broke, sorry. And The Vibe, which is coffee and ice cream, Urban Pie, awesome pizza, and Escapology. I also have a friend, KM Bennett, who writes the Having Written Substack, which is horror fiction. So go check her out. And then Candi, I'm going to turn it over to you.
So in McGregor, Iowa, we have a few businesses that have just been super awesome and supportive of us. Paper Moon Books in McGregor. The ladies there and their cats are very supportive, and they keep Jen and I stocked with our spooky lore and legends and cryptid books. Big shout out to them. And then to By the Spoonful, Katie over there makes the best sandwiches and charcuterie. but mainly, she keeps me pumped with caffeine and boba and Jen's cup. So we give big shout outs to them.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for listening again. We would love to hear your listener suggestions. If you've got a case suggestion, please put case suggestion in the subject line of your email and shoot that on over to cornfieldcovenmidwestpodcast, no spaces, at gmail.com. We'll keep this in the episode description. But we would just absolutely love to hear from you guys. We hope you're enjoying this as much as we're enjoying doing it. And we will see you next time.
Thanks for listening.
Bye, witches.